Welcome, everyone. We're in for another member hot seat. Today, we are joined by Divesh, and Vinay is alongside us. Divesh has been working with us for the past 3 months, I want to say, around about 3 months, maybe just a week over 3 months or a few days over 3 months. He's made some tremendous progress. He is a young man with a young family, and he's been sort of almost, I'll let him talk about his results when we get in, but yeah, I'll let him introduce himself. Vinay is also here. Vinay, do you want to say hi?
Hey guys, how you right?
But yeah, Divesh, man, welcome. Just give
Thank you.
anyone that's listening to this a little bit of an insight into you. So just like a little bit of an introduction, who you are, what you do, that type of thing.
Cool. So yeah, my name's Divesh, 38 years old, last week. Married with two daughters, 5 and nearly 3. I work in IT, which, as you can probably imagine, is pretty sedentary job, very desk-based, predominantly. I mean, I get about, don't get me wrong, but um, fairly desk-based. So I'm looking at screens all day and sat still. Um, I used to go to the gym in my 20s, but never really kind of committed to it, never really stuck to it long enough to see the change, whether that was on a weight loss kind of journey or bulking up journey, build up the arms or the chest or shoulders, that kind of thing. So yeah, that's a little whistle stop of me.
Awesome,
Nice
man.
one, man.
Awesome.
Yeah, so what made you change? Like, obviously you joined Affinity and everything. What made you kind of want to take that step, shall I say, to say, you know what, why do you want to change? What was the
So
reason behind it?
I don't think it was a specific like a eureka moment, like a bang, I need to change kind of thing. It wasn't a sudden realization of
Yeah.
no, it was more of a combination of getting a couple of comments from like family members or brother-in-law or sister-in-law, like jokey. They wasn't serious. They weren't having a go at me, but it kind of left something on me, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Got me thinking a little bit, and also pairing that with my own realization of going from medium outfits, medium t-shirts and jackets and stuff to large, and then to extra
Mm.
large recently over the last year or so. And I thought those kind of things combined was the point where I thought, you know what, I kind of need to sort this sort this out.
Yeah.
As I mentioned in the intro, I kind of tried to get fit over the years. Uh, you know, yeah, let me go for a little run in the summer. Wake up on a Sunday, get out for a run, do that for a week or two, and then the third Sunday or the fourth Sunday is like, oh, should we go to my mum's or should we go to this or should we go to the pub later with the mates and watch the football? Something would prop up, which would then, oh, there's no point going for a run in it. Go that do that later, and I still got to sort the house out before we go. So yeah, sod the run kind of thing. It was always pushed to the side. It didn't become the main priority or a bigger priority.
Yeah.
So yeah, it kind of just never really stuck to anything, and something else would always become the get out of jail free card to get away from doing the fitness thing, jog or run. And again, that's from a fitness point of view, but even from like the food side of things, again, I've tried the healthy eating vibes, right? Let's salad and veg, or restricting to small portions. I've tried all sorts of different stuff. Went on a little vegan vibe when that was a big thing a few years back with a few mates. I dropped out after like a week or two. I was like, guys, I can't, right? Partially that was maybe just my own attitude at that time, wasn't strong enough to give it a real go. But also, maybe it's a bit of a cop out to say, but 4 or 5 years ago, 3 4 years ago, I think it was about, yeah, it was about 4 or 5 years ago actually that we tried it as a group. The vegan options, vegan products weren't that widely available, and then the ones that were either like really rubbery
Yeah.
or very bland, very chewy. It wasn't very appetizing or appealing back then. Nowadays, and again, maybe we'll touch on that a little bit further down the line, but there's so many options now. You got the corn stuff, you got all these other meat replacement ones, or just generally high protein,
Yeah.
better options if you're not a meat eater, if you're vegetarian. So yeah, I used to just try do things like that, and something would come up or something. Can't really see anything. Checking myself out in the mirror, nothing's really happening. Sod it. What's the point? It's not working. What's the point? And just leave it for a few weeks. And then a few weeks later, well, let me try something else. I was talking to one of the guys at the pub the other day or on the way to work or, whatever it is, had a conversation with someone and try something else. And then again, rinse and repeat, give it a go, not a real go, not committed to it, don't see anything,
Yeah.
sod it, this ain't working. And then just go into that vicious cycle, I guess.
Yeah.
So those are, I think that's the main point. To summarize, like why I wanted to change is getting the comments from people here and there, just little jabs, nothing hectic, nothing deep, and then my own realization of needing bigger and bigger size clothes. So yeah,
No, that
that's
cycle that you're stuck in, it's
yeah,
very, very common. We see so many people stuck in that cycle. I think I've been in that cycle before. Vinay's obviously been in that
Yeah,
cycle.
100%. Yeah.
But the other thing that you said to me was very interesting. You were like, you tell yourself you'd do something else more important, or that you viewed more important in that time would come along, run would get pushed to the side, meal prep, whatever it may be, got pushed to the
yeah.
side, like that. And this is a common thing. And people then sort of give themselves the reasoning that, you know what, I'm just too busy and I'm not cut out for this. Now, knowing what you know, doing what you've done for the last 3 months and things like that, before you might have been in the mindset, oh, I don't have time for this and things like that. As a full-time working dad of two young girls, is there time to do stuff? Is there time to sort of, fit into your day and dedicate to a process like this?
I think definitely. Since I've been on the program and getting the tips and advice and action points from you guys and obviously people in the public group kind of thing, feeding off each other. Um, it's time management for me. I was always the wing it and let's see kind of character.
Mm.
If I can fit it in, I can make it work. If I get that jog in, I'll go for the jog. If I can't get it in, no big deal. Because back then, and now I'm talking maybe 10 years, 12 years ago, when I was early 20s kind of thing, mid 20s, I was playing football 3, 4 times a week. So I thought, yeah, that'll do, you know. But then I was eating shit or eating at late nights or would go football for an hour and a half, finish at 9:30. Guess where we're going, lads?
Chip
To the
Down the
shop.
pub.
pub.
Pub. Okay, fine.
Yeah. So it's like done all that hard work, pat on the back, and then it's like, yeah, let's go sink a couple of beers. It's like, and undo all of that hard work. But back then, I didn't connect the two
Yeah.
the progress point versus the damage point. Just done this good stuff, done a really good, got a good sweat, got a good run out, bit of cardio in there, that kind of thing. And then I'd go and ruin it by having a couple of beers, and a little starter might come out, a bit of mulgur or paneer, or and then literally just undo it all. I can look back at that now and recognize that, but back then it was just like, yeah, it's out with the lads, in it, out with the footy boys. Like it was just the thing to do. Bija karera to hu karo. Like the other guys are doing it, so I'll just go along for the ride. I'll play football in another couple of days, and I'll run it off. It was that kind of not taking the damage side of it seriously enough to realize.
Awesome. Okay, so that
Yeah.
was life before. You've given us a good idea of the things that you're struggling, the things that you're doing, the silly things that you would do to sort of almost reason with yourself. Um, for the
I mean,
listener,
sorry to cut in there. I was just gonna say that a couple of other bits that I think may be helpful if anybody else
yeah,
was to listen to this or watch the clip or anything is I used to just not worry about what I was eating. It wasn't even like I'd have sugary tea and coffee, right? Like I'd have a tea or a coffee in the morning. It's already got 2 or 3 sugars in there. And then what will I pair with that for breakfast? Two,
this,
three, four, five, six, 7 biscuits. Well, I'll start with two and
And I
then
finished the packet.
go rustle into the pack, get another one, another one, another one. Before I know it, half the pack's gone, you know? Or I'd get like a fat boy breakfast on the way to the office. If I'm going to the office, I'll stop off at a Greasy Spoon Cafe on the way from the station to the office and get like a um egg and uh cheese toasty with a hash brown in there or something like that. It's just like comfort or convenience food. I'd go for large meals just because it's like a couple of quid extra. I don't know. Maybe that's like the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the Indian in me, oh, it's a pound extra. I actually double up the chips, or stick an extra patty in there, or whatever it is. It's just no thought, no concern for what I was doing, I was like, I'm hungry, I must eat. What do I fancy? Fancy something cheesy, fancy something savory, fancy something sweet. And it just got to the point where I just gave up on the whole fitness thing.
Yeah.
I play football. I still play football. So I've
Right.
been playing football since I was 18. So it was like
That was your
17,
one
18.
constant, yeah? That was your one constant that stayed throughout. Or did
Yeah,
that for a bit as
I,
well?
I I love playing football. I don't know. Maybe it sounds cliche. Maybe it just sounds like bit standard, but yeah, I like playing football. I love playing football. If I get a shout from one of the guys, or guys I need, we're short on a couple of players, or
Let's put your hand up.
can you play? If I can play, if I can make the times work with the school, kids sleep times and stuff like that, then I'll try and make it. That's the one thing that stayed constant, and I think maybe again reflecting back on it now slightly is that was always kind of my get out of jail free card. Is yeah, I'm eating all this crap, I'm doing all of this, I'm not really concerned about it, but I'm still playing football. Play football all the time
It
or
probably did
regularly.
save you a little bit. You know, things could have probably been much worse if it wasn't for the football 3 times a week or whatever it was, right? Yeah, it
Yeah,
probably.
I can only imagine now. Back then, it wasn't even a thought. Like if I'd done my leg in, or you, we've all got mates that might have had quite a bad knee injury or ankle injury, and like, I can't do this no more. Can't, don't want
Yeah,
to risk it, for work or whatever reasons, right? And just pack it in. If I had packed it in, if I had an injury like that,
that's
touch
Vinay.
wood, I haven't.
Yeah.
You know, is that what happened? Is it?
Yeah, Vinay got you had a knee injury in it and had to pack in playing football.
Yeah, a while ago, that was like not it wasn't football, though, it was cricket. I tore my
It's-
ACL ligament completely.
Oh,
But
okay.
if you see me play now, you wouldn't know that I've even ever had 2 operations done.
Oh, serious? You're
Wow.
still sick, yeah? You're
Yeah,
still
I can still
a
play.
good
It's fine.
man.
I can still run. It's right.
Nice.
Good man.
Yeah. So
Um,
yeah, that was it. It was just there was no concern. The life before the program was just if I'm hungry, I'll eat, bit peckish on the sofa at 7:30, 8, 9 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock even. Go dive in a crisp box, biscuit tin, silly stuff.
Fi-
Thinking about
Finish
it now.
off.
Yeah.
Where are you
Yeah.
now, man? So just articulate to us what the results are, like physically, what you're seeing, numbers you're seeing, but mentally, family-wise, all of that sort of goodness that has come. So just give us a idea of where you are with results right now.
So the point that I'm at right now, and like, you touched on it at the beginning, is literally, I think this is 1 week over the halfway mark. So it's the 13th week, if you will. So 3 months in, let's say. And I can confidently say that I think I've turned things around hugely from the starting point that I was on, that I started from. Um, I started off at 85
Yeah,
and a
85.
bit, 85, let's call it 85. I started on 85, and 3 months in, I'm hovering just above the 76 mark. So I'm hoping I did set myself a target that I'd hit the magic 10 kg drop by the end of the year, by the end of December. But considering that I weighed in today at 76.15, I'm hoping that I can hit that by Sunday, if not tomorrow, kind of thing. Um, yeah, so 10 kg down in 3 months is massive achievement for me. I'm proud of that. I feel more energetic throughout the day and in the evenings. I feel more alert with tasks at hand, whether that's work related or like playing with the kids, being present with the kids, taking them out for walks myself. you know, Cheeky little self-service days. Okay, should we go for a walk? Yeah, but I get a walk in as well. So it's like just finding those little wins there that just weren't a consideration or an option for me before. I've added in 3 or 4 walks a week. Typically after the school drops, I'll drop my elder one off and I'll take a long route home. If I've not got a call out for work or anything, then I'll go the long way around back home. So anything between 3.5, 4.5 kgs, kilometers, 3.5 to 4.5 kilometers, 2, 3 times a week, 3, 4 times a week. And similarly, during the school pickup, I might leave half hour early, 20 minutes early, and take the long route to the school to pick up my daughter. And then a little bonus, almost 1K home from the school, roughly. So yeah, the walks has really helped. And when I go on them, I just put my headphones in. I don't tend to talk. I'm not a walk and talk kind of person. A lot of people might do that. Some of your other clients might be like, they'll have a catch up with the mom or their sister or the brother or uncle, dad, whoever, someone. I can't really walk and talk, so I just normally either put on a bit of trance music. I'm into a bit of trance EDM, or I might just put on a little podcast and listen to that conversation kind of thing. Um, I've had 2 notches onto my belt.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I think it was probably what Diwali was what about 6, 7 weeks ago. Yeah, about 6 weeks ago, something like that.
Yeah.
And I saw Vin on the way in,
Yeah.
and I didn't recognize him. I didn't spot him. So then I walked past, and then he's like, "Oh, Divesh," and then he called me back, and then we had a little catch up. That's the first time I met Vin physically, like face to
Yeah.
face
Yeah.
in person. And I was so glad to tell him. The first thing I think I said, "Oh, how's it going?" Yeah, I didn't introduce my wife and kids, nothing. I was like, "Bro,
Nothing.
I've added a notch to my belt."
All I see
He
him
goes, "Oh,
shouting
well
is,
done."
"Look at my belt! Look at my belt!"
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, I've added, and since then, that was the first notch on the belt to add on. And the other week, I think I had a Christmas do for work. Put that same suit on, and trousers were almost coming off, man. So I had to get another little notch on there and then really tighten that thing up, kind of thing. So that's been a huge bonus. That's been a visible, tangible, better win for me that I can feel and see. Um, yeah, and then on another thing, just doing the regular workouts that you guys have obviously prescribed as part of the plan, getting a couple more of those in, has really helped. So that I think I've built a routine that I think is now sustainable. There are times where I might sort of, oh, I really can't be jacked to do the workout, but I'll try really hard to not phone it in. And even if I just do like 4 sets of these 4 exercises, right? If I could do two, at least I've done something. you know. Where possible, I try and hit the workout as prescribed, on point, rest timer, everything is like, I try and do it as is provided. But there's just sometimes you guys know how it is. Somebody who have just have a tough day at work, is physically exerting or whatever it is, and it's like, I really don't think I can get the whole workout. Let me do something.
Mm.
So I think it's not just about losing weight anymore. I think it's about living a healthier lifestyle, not just for myself, but for my family, for my wife and kids and stuff.
Yeah. 100%.
So I think, yeah, that's generally a summary of kind of where
I
I
think
am
you
now.
touched on all the stuff. But what's the food like now compared to before?
So the food, oh mate, Weetabix, semi-skimmed milk, and a little scoop of protein powder is my go-to breakfast now every day. I think it has been for the last 4 or 5 weeks. My pictures
Yeah.
in the group will contest to that, right? Is attest to that rather. Um, it works. It works. It keeps me full. If I have that, I normally have that roughly every day, whether I'm going office or not, is about 8ish before we leave to go into the school drop or before I leave to go to the office. I'm not thinking about food until fully 1:30, which
Nice.
is a benefit when I'm at work because I'm not running to the shop to go and get a little croissant or a little, something, or go to the kitchen and dive in the cupboards to see what they got in the kitchen because they have a few bits they provide. Um, Mindful on the portions now. At the beginning, I think it was hard. Not hard. It took a bit of work. It wasn't hard. It was a chore. It was something that I had to manually do. It's like when you start driving a car. You start learning to drive a car. You're like, okay, you got to deal with the steering wheel. Right now, you got to do something with the clutch. Now you got to do something with the gears, indicator. It's like those all separate things. And now it almost feels like I just wake up. I can make my breakfast on autopilot. It's not a thing to think about now. Go in
Yeah.
the cupboard, get the Weetabix out. Go in the other cupboard, get the scoop out. Get the milk, whack it all together. And my wife started having it as well.
Good.
And she likes it. So lunchtimes, much better choices. Again, it's more health focused choices. So I go to the office twice a week. One day is definitely going to be a falafel box. Skip the pitta. Um, Full loads of salad, obviously falafel. It is fried, so obviously there's that element there. But generally speaking, that's a pretty clean meal compared to the stuff that I used to have. Burgers and chips or that kind of thing. So um, snacking again reduced it massively. Um, Before, if I was at work, I'll get the 11s right. I'll go in on the way in to the office. I'll go and go Sainsbury's, Tesco's, whatever's on the way, and I'll go and get Maryland cookies or chocolate digestives or something that I could keep in the locker. I could just twist the wrapper and keep it in my locker, and I'll have a few more next week or the next time I'm in. And I'd go for them halfway through. I'd go and get another tea with already two free sugars in there, whack another couple of biscuits in there at 10:30, 11 o'clock. That'll take me through to lunchtime. Then I feel hungry again. Then I'm like, I'm ordering with my stomach rather than my head. Like, go for the extra chips or go for the extra side thing, or well, make it a meal deal. Why not? Go on. And it was just no thought. And now that feels alien to even do that. When like I get comments from the guys that go with at work, like, "Oh, you should come, let's go lunch," and it's like, is that what you're having for lunch? I'm like, yeah, man. So I get like ribbed. I get ribbed for it a little bit, but it's all in with good vibes kind of thing. And they've seen a change. Like, bro, like salads and this and that. It's like, yeah, man, this is me now. And then lastly, I think dinner. Again, I'm not a big cooker. I don't do a lot of cooking at home. Like, there are days obviously where the wife goes to the office and the cooking's on me, but I'll be honest, I'm saying you're not gonna get a three-course meal out of me, but it's gonna be something that I've thrown together. Maybe something, like those noodle kits that you get from like Asda, Sainsbury's. You get the sauce, you get the noodles, you get your veg, you get your protein, and you just stick it all together kind of thing. So that's usually my go-to when I'm doing the dinner. But thankfully, and credit to her, my wife does the bulk of the cooking, and my mum and my mother-in-law. Because we share the childcare, or our parents help us with the childcare. Both of our parents help us with the childcare. So first half of the week, my wife's either home or she's at our mum's, so they'll do the cooking joint up. And then the latter half of the week, I get childcare help from my parents, and I work from my parents. And again, same thing. My mum will knock up rotli saag, khichdi, dal bhat, whatever it is,
So,
for us, and I'll take it home.
sorry to cut in there, but a lot
Yeah,
of people will have this similar situation.
yeah,
Parents, in-laws dropping food around, traditional food as you've described. And often
yeah,
a barrier that I see is, like, I don't know what's in it, or it's
yeah,
unhealthy, I end up eating too much and things like that. How did
yeah.
you overcome that barrier where you're like, you know what, like this food is going to screw me and I don't know how to sort of record it or track it, or I don't know how to
So
control portions on it. What's your sort of tip on that?
adjust the portion. If you don't know what's in it, be much more mindful of the portion or the amount, yeah, how much you're having of it, because you don't know how much salt's gone in there, you don't know how much oil was in there, or whatever it is. All those little bits that add up on the waistline and elsewhere. Is just to be a bit more mindful. Like, and again, a lot of benefit I've gained is from my wife has always been kind of a fitness buff. She's always been going to the gym over the years and stuff, and she watches what she eats. And like, I can say now that back then she used to just throw loads of veg in the pot and boil it and just literally have that with a little bit of salt and pepper or something. I'm like, but that is boring. Like, what? How can you eat that? Yeah. But now I can see the benefit. Obviously, I wouldn't count that as a meal that I would enjoy, but I would incorporate something else with it, like a little corn escalope or some other kind of side thing, like a corn steak or something to go with that. Because the veggies on their own, let's be honest, right? Well, I'll be honest, that's boring just on its own, right? Even now, I'm on the program and I'm thinking about things in a much clearer, positive way. I would have to have something with that. It'd have to be mashed potato or roast potatoes or, like I said, a corn thing or something. So yeah, if I didn't make it, I would be more mindful of the portions, and anything that my wife makes. She's obviously aware of the journey that I'm on, and she knows that I'm tracking all my meals and stuff like that. So she helps that by just making healthy foods,
Stuff that aligns to it.
or yeah, that aligns to the overall plan. Yeah.
Um,
Nice one. Finally, if you were to give 3 tips to someone, either starting out or someone who's feeling a bit demotivated or halfway through a journey, or at the edge where, you know what, oh, shall I message Nick? Shall I message Jamie? Shall I message Vin? I want to join. What would you tell them? or what would you advise them?
I think the first thing I would say is probably start small. Don't It's going to be very difficult. I found it very difficult over the previous times where I've tried to do something is to overhaul, right? Salads and veg every day. Like you have to start small and have some little wins that kind of accumulate. Focus on one or two habits. So again, like when I joined the program with you guys, which I find is really good tip, which I think would help a lot of other people, is just something simple like drinking more water. I wasn't a water dodger, but I'd have water. I'll have a big glass of water, like in the morning or something, and then I won't have water for the rest of the day or something like that. So just having like one of those water jugs or something that people are carrying around every day now is just in increase your water intake or get on a little walk or just something small that you can slowly add in and then you can build on it once you start seeing the changes or realize that actually, okay, I'm drinking more water, I feel more energetic. Okay, I've got more energy now. I can do a workout or I can go on a longer walk. And then it kind of snowballs into something more and more. So that's one tip is start small and just focus on one or two things. The other thing I found is kind of be patient with yourself. The results will take time. You know, healthy eating for 1 week, you're not really gonna. I didn't feel it in a week. Started on the Monday. By Sunday, I didn't feel like, oh, I feel nice and trim. I feel energetic. I can see it in the mirror. Like it wasn't like that. It doesn't register that quickly. So it takes a bit of time. So give yourself that time. Um, and I think the last thing is probably the support system. So whether that's like you guys as coaches, or my wife, or a friend, or a colleague, even having somebody in your corner to just give you that little pat on the back, or give you that little nudge when you like, I could be out with my work lot, for example, to go and get lunch, and I'm like, you know what, I don't think I could do another falafel one today. Let me go Leon and get a little burger and fries or something like that. So, oh, dude, come on, man, you've been doing well. Like, don't in it. Or get the wrap, don't get the burger with the extra cheese, and somebody just to nudge you back on if you're getting a little bit wobbly. I think that really helps. So those I think would be the three key areas there that I
I
would.
think the last one's important, man. I always say it to people like, tell your family, tell the people that you live with what you're doing, why you're doing it. Because if you haven't got their support, it's gonna screw you over. So no, it's good. It's good that you make it obvious to people like I'm doing this because I feel like sometimes we're a little bit secretive with it, and like, I don't want to tell anyone what I'm doing, and
Yeah.
it just bites them. It doesn't quite help them
So
out.
that's what I was actually like when I first joined the program. Even when I was joining the program, when I had that initial call with you, Nick, how does it work? Uh, you know, what kind of things do we do? What do I need to bring to the party? What are you guys going to provide me? Are you going to give me a meal plan? All of that stuff. During that time, I didn't even tell my wife at first.
Oh, didn't you? Okay.
Yeah, because I was seeing, I followed you guys, or I followed the page um through my nephew Rishan, who's I think was on your program for a little while around his wedding time or something. So, and he's like, oh, bro, it's like this was 3 4 years ago that he was telling me about it, and it kind of piqued my interest. And I'm like, and then there's obviously there's other ones out, there's other programs that do similar kind of things, right? Maybe a different way, but other journeys that you could go on with other providers. And I was like, I was very close a couple of times to clicking the let's have a chat call, button and just have a chat with one or two of them. And it kind of felt like I don't want anybody to know. I don't want anybody to know until I can see the change myself. Then I can shout and rave about it,
But then once you
kind of
start
thing.
telling people about it, or not even like not like shouting and raving about it, but just sort of, hey, I'm doing this thing. Please, I'd appreciate it if you could help me out over here.
Yeah,
Does it not
yeah,
make things a little bit like smoother for you?
yeah, yeah. So like I say, at the beginning, I didn't want to tell anyone, not even my wife. And then I decided to have that call with you. And then I went and discussed it with the missus. I think I told you at the end of that call, right? Like
Oh, come on, this
it may
yeah.
have even sounded like I needed permission, or I was like, it's the money to spend, or whatever it is. It wasn't that. It was just She's my sounding board.
Yeah, yeah.
We've been together a long time. We've grown up
Yeah,
and kind
yeah,
of molded each other a lot. So she knows me inside out, and I know her inside out. So to discuss something like this felt like a standard thing to do.
Yeah.
You know, oh, we need to get a new car. I'm not just going to go out and buy one. I'll discuss that with her, or sofas, or whatever it is, right? And it just felt like the next thing that I should have a chat with her about. Look, I spoke to Nick. It seems like it's something that I can get behind. I'm not worried about the money side of it. What do you reckon? So I spoke, she was the first person I kind of told, and then the socials hit. I know we talked about it at the beginning that I said I was quite a social animal, but actually, in your experience as coaches, it's been quite tame compared to what I was saying I was like. I've
yeah,
not been on that many socials as you guys were perhaps expecting, but now that I've been out with the lads, been out with my cousins, been out with work lot, and they're like, "Oh, you going for the noodles, or you going for this, or you going for that?" No, no, no. Yeah, I'm on a little bit of a health vibe at the moment. I'm trying to watch what I eat, and I'm, looking at the calories and stuff. And they're not a negative comment, not a serious negative comment anyway. Somebody else, oh, I'll leave it out, go and have another double, or have another drink, like that. But generally speaking, it was positive. So like tonight, I'm out with the lads. Most of them know because I see them quite regular, so they know that I'm on this program. And they will, like you say, will give you that support. They will give me that support to say, look, do you want another drink? Nah, nah, I've had my allocation, I'm all right. I'm cool. All right, no worries. They're not gonna pester me. They're not gonna make me feel awkward about not having that drink. You know what it's like sometimes with the lads,
yeah,
right? It gets a bit bravado. It gets a little bit showy. And luckily, thankfully, the circles that I move in aren't people in those circles aren't really like that. So I think that definitely helps. I think that's probably the biggest one out of the three. Start small, change a few things, and see how you go and snowball it into something bigger. Be patient because it takes time. You're not going to see something at the end of week one. Maybe you might not even see it at the end of the first 2 or 3 weeks, maybe the month. It depends, obviously, what each individual's plan is, what they want to, what their goal is, how aggressive they're going to maybe be to get there. But yeah, generally speaking, you're not going to see it in a week or two. So you have to stick to it a little bit longer. When you do see that something, that little notch on the belt or looking a bit slimmer in the mirror in the morning, that's what's going to kind of spur you on, egg you on to do more and keep going.
yeah,
And the most important, like we just touched on, is the support system. Definitely, people, Nick, you nailed it when you said, "Look, I'm on this journey. Be really helpful if you could get behind me on this kind of thing, and not push me to have those drinks. You don't have to say all of those things to
No,
those
no,
people, but just for
no.
people to know that you're on a health kick or a health vibe or you're on a plan, however you want to describe it,
Yeah,
for them to know that automatically, hopefully, would put them on your side
100%, man.
and be supportive behind that.
Thank you, man. You answered pretty much all of our questions, even if we didn't directly ask you the questions. I think you touched on it. That's why we might have skipped a few, but you answered everything that would be useful to someone listening. So, no, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for coming on, talking
Thanks
to
for
us,
having me.
giving an
thank you,
insight
thank
into
you.
your experience. I guess, is there any parting words, anything you want to say? If there is, you don't have to, but like, thank you. It was wicked. That was really, really good.
Um, I think maybe just like a closing kind of statement or something I come across on Instagram a few months back, well, maybe about 5, 6 months back. It was like a little video clip, it was one of those emotional kind of music kind of thing on the backing, and it said something along the lines of like, you say you'd die for your loved ones or your wife or your kids or someone, but wouldn't you rather live for them? And that really hit home, I think for me. Um, it's not just me looking after myself for myself, but if I didn't or if I don't, who knows? I could be on a slippery slope and God forbid something, dramatic or something drastic, sorry, was going to happen. That would, where would that leave my wife and kids? And that was another kind of dawning moment for me is I need to get my shit in gear. Basically, I need to get myself in gear because if I don't, there could be an opportunity. And again, maybe you guys have that experience as well in your friend, family, colleagues, circles where you've had somebody that's maybe passed away way ahead of their time, maybe suddenly, or maybe they weren't looking after themselves in these kind of ways that we've been talking about and describing that people ought to try and do, and you know have passed away, and then they've left kids behind or they left the partner behind. It's like you see the damage, you see the pain and the hurt and the situation that they leave behind. Like maybe you could say that they're in a better place now that they're not suffering or they're not this and that, but look at the
Yeah.
ripple effect that they're left behind.
Yeah.
100%. Like, no one can choose how they go, but you want to leave knowing that you did absolutely everything in your power to live as healthily and as, add as much
And that's
long
it.
life, right? Look,
Yeah,
tomorrow I might walk out onto the street, get hit by a bus. It happens, but at least I know I've done everything in my power
yeah,
to, make
Stay
sure that
fit.
the surgeon has a good enough job trying to put me back together, like
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
at least they know that this guy is strong enough to go on the surgery table. That sort of vibe. But it's so true. Everyone, first thing they say, I'll do anything for my kids, I'll do anything for my family, I'll die for them. Okay, how about we start with, working out and eating right? Like do that. Do
yeah,
that. That's enough. That's
yeah.
the first place to start. But it often over gets overlooked, right? So absolutely, nail on the head. Great parting statement. And relatable to both me and Vin as well. Obviously being
Yeah.
it's a situation too, but we're all young dads. So I can relate to that completely, man. Yeah.
Cool, man.
Thank you so much. Guys, thank you for listening. Let us know how you found it. And yeah, we'll see you for the next one.